Hello, thank you for listening to our presentation about the University of Minnesota's 2020 Retirement Incentive Option. My name is Chrisanne McMahon, and I'm the Retirement Programs Manager for the university.
And my name is Jeff Altringer, and I'm a benefits consultant on the retirement programs team. We hope you will find the information in the following slides helpful as you determine whether or not taking advantage of this incentive option makes sense for your personal situation. Today, we'll be covering an overview of the retirement incentive option, eligibility, program details, university retiree insurance, next steps, and additional resources.
We'll start with a quick overview. The 2020 Retirement Incentive Option, often called the RIO for short, is a one-time benefit program offered to eligible employees who are near retirement and who meet the requirements that we'll discuss shortly. The RIO provides a $38,000 contribution split over two payments of $19,000 each to the Healthcare Savings Plan to help participants pay for healthcare costs in their retirement. The RIO will also help colleges and units save on salary and fringe costs. Employees who choose to take advantage of the RIO have to retire by January 15th, 2020. All employee groups are eligible for this program. Eligible faculty and staff must be actively employed at 75% time or greater, hold an appointment term of 9 months or greater on the day they retire, and be currently eligible for university subsidized benefits. They do not have to be enrolled in university subsidized benefits, only eligible for them. Employees who take advantage of the RIO must be eligible for university retiree benefits, either 55 or older with at least 5 years of service, 50 or older with at least 15 years of service, or have 30 years of service no matter how old they are. Employees must meet these age and service requirements by October 19th, 2020. Since what counts as a year of service is important here, let's define what that means. 1 full year of service is credited for each anniversary from an employee's original date of hire through their last day of employment. A year of service will only include years in which an employee held an appointment percentage of 50% or greater. Years do not have to be continuous. They are cumulative regardless of breaks in university employment. Service as a student worker, graduate assistant, or professional in training does not count as university service for this purpose.
It's important to note that not all employees who meet the previous requirements are eligible for the RIO. Any faculty who are temporary, visiting, adjunct, or clinical from outside the university are not eligible to take the RIO. For P&A employees, those with flexible, hourly, summer research only, lump sum, summer session, or fall under 9500, 9755, 9756, or 9757 appointments are ineligible. Also, generally speaking, any civil service or labor represented employees with temporary or non-standard hourly appointments cannot take the RIO. In addition, regardless of employee group, employees are not eligible for the RIO if they are not actively working, such as on a leave, were terminated for cause, or are participating in another university exit program, such as phase retirement, the non-renewal program, or the layoff severance program. Anyone who has participated in previous retirement incentive options is also ineligible to take part in this one. If an employee is being paid to stay home due to COVID-19, they may still be eligible. One further note about P&A employees. As I just mentioned, if you have accepted the non-renewal program, you would not be eligible for the RIO. However, those who have received a non-renewal notice and have elected to work until the end of the notice period may be eligible for the RIO, but must retire before the last day of their notice period to take the RIO. In other words, they can take the RIO but cannot use it to extend their appointment.
Let's talk about some of the important features of the 2020 RIO. The RIO provides 2 contributions to the State of Minnesota Healthcare Savings Plan, or HCSP for short, totaling $38,000. The first payment of $19,000 will be made approximately 1 month after the employee's last day of employment. The second payment of $19,000 will be made in July or early August 2021 if the employee has not been rehired at the university before July 16, 2021. To take advantage of the RIO, eligible employees must elect the program between August 17th and October 19th, 2020, or the retirement date, whichever is earlier. For example, if your retirement date is September 15th, you must select the program prior to that date. Employees are required to retire by January 15th, 2021. An employee's date of retirement will need to be determined through mutual agreement of the employee and their college, campus, or administrative unit, following approval procedures specified by their unit. Faculty and staff retiring during their appointment must do so on or before the last day when their appointment ends.
Now, let's take a closer look at the plan that will be used for the RIO contribution. The Healthcare Savings Plan is administered by the Minnesota State Retirement System and is set up to accommodate tax-free contributions and reimbursements for qualified healthcare expenses. There is a default investment option, but participants may choose from a variety of investment options in the HCSP once their contribution has been deposited. Withdrawals from the HCSP can only be taken after an employee's retirement or termination. The account does not expire, so there isn't a time limit on when you must use the money. Also, the account can pass to beneficiaries. Employees can use the funds in the HCSP to be reimbursed for many healthcare costs, including insurance premiums for medical, dental, long-term care, or Medicare for themselves, spouses, and dependents. Insurance premiums are eligible if they aren't being withheld from a paycheck, such as those for the U-Plan retiree coverage. Deductibles and copays are also eligible to be reimbursed. Please note, if you've participated in a health savings account, or HSA, contact MSRS to discuss compatibility with the Healthcare Savings Plan. The RIO contribution to the Healthcare Savings Plan is based upon 2 years of the university employer subsidy for medical and dental premiums at wellness rates for family coverage in the Twin Cities area. Your healthcare costs and the rate at which you request reimbursements from the HCSP, along with investment gains and losses, will determine how long this balance will last for you. Note, if an employee violates the return to employment terms of the RIO agreement, this will result in repayment or forfeiture of the HCSP contribution. The restrictions on returning to university employment after electing the RIO are as follows. Employees cannot be reemployed at the U of M for at least 6 months after retirement, or they will have to repay the first HCSP payment. Employees who return to university employment before July 16, 2021 will forfeit the second $19,000 HCSP payment. After 6 months, employees can return to university employment only in a non-benefits eligible position of no more than 19.5 hours per week. Please note that these employment restrictions apply only to University of Minnesota employment. Employment at other organizations, including employment at the University of Minnesota Physicians, UMP, do not impact this program. That wraps up the details about the retirement incentive option. But on a related note, here are a few key points about the option to continue insurance coverage through the university retiree group. If you have U-Plan medical or dental coverage when you retire, you have the option to continue that coverage through the university retiree group. Retirees continuing coverage through the university will pay the full cost of coverage. But keep in mind, these premiums are eligible for reimbursement from the healthcare savings plan. If retirees do not opt in to the university retiree group at the time of retirement, they cannot rejoin at a future date. For more information, including premium costs, a retirement checklist, and the continuation of coverage form, go to z.umn.edu/retiree benefits. Please note, employees do not have to elect participation in the university retiree insurance group in order to be eligible for the RIO.
If you are interested in taking the RIO, here are your next steps. You must submit the RIO agreement to your department by October 19th, 2020, or your retirement date, whichever day is earlier. Review the retirement checklist and complete the continuation of coverage form if you want to continue benefits. Then make sure you sign the release on your last day of employment and return it to total compensation. MSRS will send a welcome packet on the healthcare savings plan 6 to 8 weeks after your retirement if you do not already have an HCSP account with them. This presentation provided an overview on the RIO program, but we encourage you to review the additional detail available. We have set up a dedicated website for the RIO program, which can be found at z.umn.edu/UMN-RIO. Documents available include the RIO policy, FAQs, RIO agreement and release form, retirement checklist, continuation of coverage form, and a link to the HCSP brochure and video. If you still have questions after you've reviewed the information on the OHR website, you can call OHR's contact center at 612-624-8647 or 1-800-756-2363. Thank you again for listening to the presentation.